took 3 minutes to talk not about your business, it's to talk about business in general and hints and tips and advice and everything else that goes with business. And this week's speaker is Lisa Caine, so I hand it over to you, Lisa.
Wonderful. Thanks, Linda. Thanks for the waves, everybody. I'm sorry I can't be there this morning. I've got a workshop I'm kicking off shortly, but I will see you very soon anyway. So this morning I'm talking about Slay the Resistance Dragon. So tell me if this sounds familiar. You set out to do something challenging, for example, building the Legos Millennium Falcon, which is apparently the biggest Lego set there is. But somehow, after the initial excitement, you can't seem to find the time to do it. So you do less and less every day. And before you know it, it's sitting there gathering dust in the corner of your living room, and you're ignoring the angry, cold stares from your significant other. Is it lack of motivation or something else? Well, before I answer that, let's look at it from a different perspective. Do you think all of the people who start on a diet and exercise regime and then a couple of days, a few weeks, or maybe even a few months at best, later quit, do you think they lack motivation? Well, I don't think so. Since 90% of people who lose a lot of weight eventually regain it, that would mean that 9 out of 10 people lack motivation. Well, to me, that just doesn't sound right. I don't think that people lack motivation. There must be something else. And there is. So here's the thing. If you're a normal functioning adult, you do not lack motivation. Sure, there'll be days when you feel like not doing anything at all. I had a day like that yesterday, actually, but I plowed on through. But that's not lack of motivation. It's really just your body's way of saying enough and forcing you to rest. And by the way, if you suspect that you might lack motivation because you're depressed or burnt out, then seek help. Don't joke around with that stuff. But simply put, motivation is what you use to get started. Resistance is what keeps you stuck. So finishing things, well, that's a different skill altogether. Setting goals isn't the answer. It's a nice piece that plays well on podcasts. We hear a lot about setting goals, and it may well help to keep you on track, but it doesn't get the job done. What you lack isn't setting goals or writing them down if you want to achieve something. So what is it then? There's actually a hidden source of almost overwhelming motivation that each and every one of us can tap into whenever we want to do whatever we want. It's the one thing that will overcome that dragon we all must slay, and we must slay that dragon day after day, and that is resistance. So what's the hidden secret? How do we self-motivate? Most people think that first they need motivation and then they're going to take action. But research actually shows that the opposite is true. It's the action that's important. In other words, take action and the motivation will follow. Taking action is the one thing, the only thing that will slay that dragon, the thing we call resistance. You need to write a 1,000-word paper. Well, instead of waiting for motivation for a week, sit down and start writing. You'll have it done in an hour or 30 minutes if you're fast. You need to build a lead magnet maybe to grow your list, something we sometimes talk about. Don't wait for motivation. Set a timer for 120 minutes and start researching. When 120 minutes has passed, you're not allowed to research anymore. Take a break and then start creating, and so on. Action comes first and motivation will follow. This is how you finish what you start every single time. So good luck. And if anybody is interested in further reading on that, I highly recommend 2 books. One, I'm especially fond of anything that Steve Pressfield writes. He's an American author. It's called The War of Art. It's a very small book, but it packs a huge punch. The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. That's Stephen with a V. And the other book, which is a little more geared to understanding resistance in the way that people come to consensus or don't come to agreement, is a book by a guy called Rick Maurer, M-A-U-R-E-R. Rick, M-A-U-R-E-R. And the name of his book is called Beyond the Wall of Resistance. But it's the one thing that if you can just plow through and slay it as that beastly dragon every single day, it's the one thing that'll help you to move forward. So thanks, everyone.
Great, thanks. Now, Lisa, would you be able to share the names and authors of those books on our Facebook page for anyone who's interested?
Yeah, sure. No problem at all.
That way, those of us who haven't got pens and are not scribing,
I will.
connect with the Facebook page and we'll be there. And yeah, thank you.
All right. Thanks, Linda. Andrew, I'll see you this afternoon. I understand you're attending the Hands Across the Canberra workshop. Terrific. See you then. Bye, everybody.
All right, bye.
Thanks, Rich. Thanks, Rich. Thanks, David, for setting me up. Bye, guys.
Yeah, it's like,